Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. High school teachers of Reddit. What's the most awkward position a student has ever put you in? I had a student, freshman 15 years old, send me a picture of herself in lingerie with the line, "What can I do to get an A?" Had to protect myself. Turned it into administration. It was a very awkward meeting with her parents. Edit. She sent the picture to me via email. Her parents were mortified and were not bad parents. She was a very confused girl who I believe got the help she needed. Just got you didn't get arrested for possession of CP. Rules can be weird. I was afraid of that, but our district's legal team said because she was covered it could not be considered child O. So he could have easily been fired arrested for possessing unsolicited CP had she not been covered. Surely there's some sort of safety net for teachers to prevent this kind of ultimate retaliation from students. Edit. I've never got more than 100 upvotes for any single comment. Thanks for making my one post about child pornography my best comment tenfold. I had a male model like pay teacher who had to start dressing bad and not shaving to make girls stop having a pay note for injury so they wouldn't just hang around him. Did it backfire and make him hotter? A little bit. He just looked like a slob for the most part, plus he chewed gum a lot and he had good breath. Seems like you got close enough to smell his breath. A 9th grade student in my world history class came to my classroom after school to make up a quiz. She sat down across from my desk and when I looked up I noticed that her shirt was unbuttoned almost completely down to her waist. She had a scarf on, so at a glance she just looked normal, but she definitely unbuttoned her shirt almost all the way down right before entering my classroom. Alone. I honestly thought for a second that the school may have paid her to test how much integrity I had as a male teacher. It was uncomfortable. Edit. Should have been more clear. School policy was to keep the door open when alone with any students regardless of gender, which it was. It was right after school so there was still a lot of activity in the hallways. Her being in there with the door open wasn't out of the ordinary at all. The way she was sitting kept anyone in the hallway from seeing what she had done, which made it even more awkward. I just didn't look at her and acted like I didn't notice. She never did anything like that around me for the rest of the year. Did you make sure you weren't in a hentai? Edit. I come back to gold. Thank you. The best way to test is to cough, and if she seems to start squealing Sempi noticed me and dance. The answer is yes. Also don't walk anywhere, because you will trip and fall into an unexpected girl's breast. Had 2 students, girls, asked to go to the restroom and I allowed them. They didn't come back until class was over. The girls explained they went to the bathroom because one of them was taking a pregnancy test. It was positive. I said congratulations, then recommended they go speak to the counselor or school nurse. Edit 1. When typing this last night I didn't give a damn about punctuation, grammar, complete sentences, etc. Update. A few have asked and the girl did decide to keep her baby. Her boyfriend baby daddy was arrested that same semester and I have no idea how long he remained in jail. He was in my class as well and I know he wasn't released that semester because I never saw him again. I saw my previous student one more time the following year after she had graduated and she was working the drive-through cash register at a local fast food restaurant. I said congratulations, holy shit, this absolutely killed me for some reason. Her response was the best. Her jaw dropped then. Congratulations, Ms. My name removed. My mom is going to kill me. It was the first thing that came to mind. Didn't know how else to respond. Edit. Oops. Spelling. If her mom's gonna kill her she probably won't be getting a lot of congrats, so at least she got yours. I teach English in Germany, and sometimes taking literal translations can cause a problem. Once while we were talking about going to the beach, I had a student ask me why she couldn't say I creamed my pants. Now in German, to say that you apply sun lotion, you say ich creme mich, or literally translated, I cream myself. As a result, a native English speaker friend of hers decided to joke and say that she should never say I creamed my pants in English and not say why. So she asked me, her English teacher, in front of the class, who also began demanding to know. Needless to say, I went bright red and called to have an early break. That reminds me of the time a male student, I am female, asked me what is. I teach students with intellectual disabilities and he was just asking an honest question. I told him it would be inappropriate for me to answer and that he should ask his mom. In hindsight, maybe not the best thing to say. I can only imagine what he said. Hey mom, Miss, it's Windmill told me to ask you what a is. Edit. Person first language edit 2. Editing the edit. Met, still better than him saying, hey mom, Miss, it's Windmill taught me what a is. Hold on, it's a Windmill messed up her own name. My English teacher was put in a very uncomfortable situation a few years ago when one day during class one of the girls asked if she could use the bathroom and naturally he said in a little bit. 5 minutes later she raises her hand again and my teacher replied, I'll write you a pass right now. Then the girl said never mind. It went back in. The look on my teacher's face was amazing. The yuck. I don't understand. Someone PLS explain. Girl was about to poop herself. She was experiencing turtling, which is when the tip of the poop comes out of your butt. The turtle went back into its shell. My English teacher has been put into some uncomfortable situations at my school. He's in his 30s, has a caustic sense of humor, and the ravages of time haven't reached him quite yet. So needless to say the girls at my school have gone a bit nuts. The most outstanding example I can think of is when a freshman girl, who he doesn't even teach, found his wedding photos online, photoshopped her face onto his wife's, and circulated them. That was my reaction as well. Another time, my friends and I were sitting in front of his classroom chatting, when a sophomore student of his walked in. It was his lunch break. She then proceeded to stare at him for 10 minutes straight. I wish I was joking. I felt bad for the guy, and ended up going in to ask some BS question. That's really creepy. This almost needs to be addressed to the girls by the school. Student threatened to strangle me with his iPod cord and then didn't. What a tease. Edit. Holy shit. Thanks for the gold. Boy do I hate when that happens to me. One of my very good looking male friends is a science maths teacher. He's one of those mad people that loves to make maths fun and honestly his classes are like a damn performance. It's beautiful but a lot of the girls in the class just giggle and ask him if he has a girlfriend. He kept deflecting them and concentrated on making the class fun but then they got nasty to a quiet girl he paid too much attention to. She was actually interested in math and he gave her some extra material after class that he thought she'd like. Full stop. He fully put his foot down and demanded a parent meeting with all of the girls in question parents and told them straight up they could either act like mature people or get out and that he didn't deserve to be borderline sexually harassed while working. Most of the parents were just mortified their daughters would behave like that but a few were like it's a compliment, etc. Luckily admin were on his side. That's a thing I don't understand. You tell someone hey this makes me uncomfortable and they angrily insist that it's a compliment, instead of apologizing. Good for him for standing up for himself. That's the moment you turn all your attention to one of the parents and go, Mr. X, if your wife came home from work and told you several of her male co-workers constantly said her she's pretty hot and she should join them after work, would you consider that compliments or harassment? On a side note, is it a UK thing to say maths or was I just stupid and always called it math? Not a teacher but my buddy asked our fairly attractive physics professor to prom. It was really hard to watch. What did she say? She was caught completely off guard and just let out a long, awkward no. Wrecked. I am a gay teacher. One day when I was teaching middle school and one of my female students told me she had to go to the bathroom. She came back and told me in front of the class that her period came. It was her first period. She had no idea what to do. She was not wearing anything, and she was in great pain. You could see the blood coming in. I calmly told her to go to the nurse. I am a 28-year-old gay male and I still have no fucking clue how a period works. And to my student, Brittany, it is okay to cringe at the fact that you told your gay teacher and 20 other students that you started your adventure to womanhood. Because of you, I carry pads in my desk. This is why as soon as my twin girls hit middle school, I packed them pads in their bags. They hadn't started to menstruate yet, but it was a just in case tactic. You're a good dude for staying stocked. Thank God I teach third graders and don't have to worry about it. Ugh. I started mine that early. I remember it exactly because I hadn't had the talk yet because I was so young. I was at school and some of my female friends held a funeral for me because we all thought I was going to die. And here lies you/Savin She was a kind, loving soul. It all happened so quickly. 1 second it wasn't there. The next second it was. Bless her heart. Rest in peace. You/Savin You will be missed. When I was teaching high school, a little twit named Austin found out it was my 45th birthday and launched into a spiel in front of the class how I should be sure to get a colonoscopy as I was now at that age. Well, I see I'm not the first to tell you. You should get a colonoscopy. He's not wrong. Join our community Discord, link in description. In middle school during sex ed the teacher was preaching abstinence until marriage. The teacher was single so a student asked him if he was a virgin. Awkward for the teacher because he didn't know which was worse, admit he was a hypocrite or admit he was a 40-year-old virgin. He turned bright red and let us go to recess early. That's not an appropriate question. Moving on. Edit. But that's easy to say when I'm not on the spot. Haha, that's great. When I was in middle school many horrible years ago, I remember sitting in sex ed and my PE teacher Mr. Real talking about condoms and how we should use them. Someone asked a question along the lines of why we should use them and very slowly and awkwardly he said because skin on skin hurts. I can now remember seeing the lies in his face. That is not what you say when asked that. At least mention the risk of STDs, if not pregnancy. Had a failing student stay after class to ask me if I suck your D, will you give me a B? Very glad there was a trusted adult close by. The real tragedy is that she didn't even ask for an A. What kind of self-esteem would you need in order to offer a BJ for just a B? Well, she did only offer a B job. A's are for anal. When I did student teaching at a high school, one male student in the string ensemble I was leading asked, in front of others, if he could learn cello because he wanted to play something he could hold between his legs. I have the best music teacher. He says mildly inappropriate stuff like finger your G string, or when we weren't playing on the D string loud enough he said give me more D. I swear whenever something like that happens the class doesn't recover. We need a good half hour before we can start playing with a straight face. Sometimes he'll stories about his life which are always entertaining. Very interesting guy. The dude got a shout out from Chance the Rapper in one of his songs. Edit. For those wondering which song, it was Everything's Good. Good behind outro. When I was in high school, I had a music teacher like that. He would always say inappropriate, slightly sexual stuff, and since he was young and hip we all loved him. I had him 3 out of 5 periods my senior year. Jazz band, jazz choir. And considered him a friend and a great teacher. He disappeared about a month before graduation, replaced by a substitute teacher with no explanation. And then the news of his childo addiction came to light. He used school computers. He had hidden cameras set up in the closet. He encouraged the drama kids wrote changing. He had a relationship with a 14-year-old student. Teachers making sexualized jokes to students is now a bit of a red flag to me. Cello, ladies. Ran into one of my students at the store. The only things in my cart were duct tape, tampons, and motor oil. He looked at my items, and his eyes got large. Not sure what he was imagining I was going to do, but we both acted like it never happened the next day in school. Motor oil to lube up the tampon, and duct tape to keep it up in there, clearly. Knowing young boys, I bet he didn't even notice or care about the duct tape and motor oil. The mere presence of tampons was enough to freak him out. Some context. I teach students with intellectual disabilities. Imagine being an 8-year-old in a teenager's body. These kids are just honest and always say what is on their mind. Not a lot of understanding of social norms and socially appropriate behavior. One of my students comes up to me and asks to speak to me outside of the classroom. I thought maybe he was dealing with something personal and needed to talk about it, so I said okay. He proceeds to tell me that I am the sexiest thing he has ever seen. I had to try to squash that right away. I told him that he can't say that to me because I am his teacher. It's not appropriate, etc. After that, he asked for a hug. Lesson not learned. Edit. I didn't use person first language. I had a student tell me, quietly in the back of the room, how she was struggling to concentrate and would likely need to leave in class for an extended period of time because she had a UT. I spoke with her after class making sure she was alright. I had to find a very delicate way of explaining the importance of peeing after sex and gently reminding her to always use protection, without directly saying those words. I am a male and it was in a conservative town, so I could have gotten into serious trouble for not encouraging abstinence only. I just wanted to make sure she was informed and safe. People who teach abstinence only are on my hate list. How can teens learn safe sex when they're only taught to fear it? I absolutely hated it. The program was called Creating Positive Relationships, so kids in health class heard they were learning CPR. When the time came around, then they were just told the evils of premarital sex and the ineffectiveness of protection. The kids were given pledge cards for them to sign promising to stay pure until marriage. I always felt bad for the custodial staff who had to pick up hundreds of those off of the floor later that day. I get not wanting to encourage teens to have sex, but the follow-up issue, where are they going to learn about safe sex? It's important to know when you're an adult, and even when you're married, if you're not ready for kids yet. I teach middle school. I hope that counts. Last week, a 13-year-old boy asked me what happens when a girl gets turned on. All I could say was, go ask an experienced friend. I'm going to pretend this didn't just happen. I'm a young female teacher. Yikes. Shoulder said, yeah sure, here watch and squirt him with ketchup. Till women have explosive periods when they are horny. We call that birth control. Teach middle school, so most of the time it's awkward. Fairly soon after I'd broken up with a long-term boyfriend, a student asked me why we'd broken up. I swear, it wasn't weird that the kid knew. They'd seen me with him around town. So that was fun. Then the kid threatened to take him out for me. A 6th grader asked me how reproduction can define an organism as living versus non-living if boys cannot make babies. Shouldn't this mean that boys are non-living? I sent that kid right on down to the health teacher. That's actually kind of a good point if that's how life was defined to him. Kids thinking like a scientist if you think about it. Today I learned I'm as dead on the outside as on the inside. A boy in a dance class at my school was going to have to wear skin-tight leggings in an upcoming performance. Now, serious male dancers usually wear what is called a support, like a heavy-duty supportive G-string, under leggings to tuck everything away neatly. However, the school I teach at isn't a specialist dance school and we don't have many male students, so this wasn't an issue I have had to deal with before. It was decided that the school would purchase the support for him since we had to make a trip to a dance shop anyway and we knew what to look for. Cue an awkward phone call with the student's mother to explain why his teachers were buying him a G-string. I'm a new teacher, in my early 20s with a student who is almost too old to be in high school, 21. I was really short with him one day because he was being an and he responded, I know why you're so crabby today. You're mad because your boyfriend beat you. He then yelled at me the whole way down the stairs as I escorted him to the principal, demanding that I tell him why he was in trouble. Made me super uncomfortable, because he was almost my age and clearly didn't respect me as a teacher. His comments were way over the line and he got removed from my class for it. Edited because I shouldn't be trusted to type anything before bed. Where is 21 almost too old for high school? I can understand up to 19 if they are on the back end of the age cutoff and were held back a year. But 21? If you don't manage to complete the graduation requirements, you can stay in high school until 21, at least in my state district. Current teacher at college is a young man in his 20s. Those considered popular girls in my class will constantly call his name for help, but sometimes they just call his name for his attention and give him nicknames which he always become awkward in response and just goes, don't call me that, and ends up standing awkwardly with one of the straight faces that says, I want to stand over there now. Edit. I'm in a rather small college. There's quite a few people well known in the college, ranging from the probably gonna be a rapist to the ones who bunk, drink, and cause trouble. It's a lot different than a large college which I was in. One moving to this one. Can confirm there's no popular or unpopular in big colleges, but in this small college, there is. Not sure about others. I'm in the UK. At my job, one of the managers looks like a stereotypical dad in his mid-30s. Young, attractive, has a family. We have this one girl what calls him Daddy Frank. Then all the other girls started calling him Daddy Frank. My first day he was showing me around and a few of the girls started their thing. Daddy Frank, I need to get into the supply closet. Daddy Frank, a customer needs a manager. etc etc. This entire time he is turning beet red and giving me a look like I swear this isn't what it looks like. He asks if I have any questions and I said with a completely serious tone, do I have to call you Daddy Frank? He was good about it. I interviewed for a job as a receptionist at a farmer's insurance one time. Keep in mind I was a 20-year-old guy. Things my boss did. The guy was like 60 something and had no idea about boundaries, appropriate jokes, or acceptable work behavior. He was like a big, sexist, racist, homophobic 10-year-old and had been selling insurance with farmers for around 30 years. Found out later his dad was a judge up in Dallas back in the day, so he was used to getting away with literally everything his entire life. Wait, there were popular kids in college. I burned my hand during the weekend with a jar of hot wax, the waterproofing kind, that cracked. As a result, on Monday I was wearing a bandage and my teacher asked why I didn't get my homework in. I said I burned my hand. He asked, oh, sorry, how? I responded, hot wax. Now I was a class clown who regularly competed with another class clown. The other class clown, let's call him John, said, Sutology, you twit. You're supposed to drip the wax for that kink. I replied, your room is a mess, John. How was I supposed to find the instruction manual? The teacher, noticing we were about to take up a few minutes of class, told us to stop. John decided not to and replied, Mr. H. His safe word is belaguard. Stop won't do anything. Mr. H. What, John? A safe word? It's a word the. Mr. H. That's not what I know what a safe word is, John. I'm saying, John. Ugh, gross TMI, Mr. H. Geez, you guys are cringy as hell. Sorta the point. See how far the other one will go with it or how long until we were stopped. It wasn't a serious class. Just robotics, which means all the dumb kids from the metal shop who got bored making gumball dispensers got put in with the math geeks and engineer wannabes. This banter is actual gold. I'd give you Reddit gold, but I'm poor, so please take this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.